Weeds, they're not your enemy. Use them to your advantage. Hey guys, Wes here, Take Creek Ranch. Welcome back. So I just actually filmed another short video. Actually, it wasn't that short, about carbon and the skid steer. So this is a separate video. We're going to talk about real quick something else that I was getting way too long-winded in the other videos. So that's why we're making this one, hence the exact same outfit, same place in the field. Weeds. The subject is weeds. Well, what is a weed? Something that man has just determined undesirable. Really, that's about it. They talk about invasives. There's weeds that you definitely don't probably want getting completely out of control on your land. Now, but let's put it in perspective. Why is that so-called weed there? It's a successional plant, and it comes in when there's a need. When there's a need, if the soil is scarred, if the pH is out of balance, if it's too high or low in nutrients, if it, there's a thousand reasons. Too much moisture, not enough moisture. So there are these plants that are perfectly adapted to those situations, those conditions, and they thrive. Okay, so what do? Human nature is get rid of the weeds, get rid of the weeds. We focus on getting rid of the weeds. And how do we get rid of the weeds? Well, we use a Band-Aid. We typically take an herbicide and spray the weed and kill the weed. Okay, now what? You just killed the one thing that could live in that spot, in that dirt, those soil conditions. You killed the one thing that could thrive there. Oh, well, that seems like you're going backward because say your target species is grass or legume. Okay, great, that's what we want if we're grazing. But if you kill the plants that are there that can live on that soil and that's all you do, well, you'll never have anything come in there without major corrections and a lot of inputs to your soil. So how I view so-called weeds is I actually see them as my friend, not my enemy. And they're telling me just by looking at them, what's wrong with my soil? So you can tell if you're high or low in phosphorus or pH or, there's a million things by leaf spot identification, by what species of plant is easily growing in that area. So I'm no expert on the matter. I typically have to go to my book or I have to go to, YouTube University again. But I do use the plants that are growing natively as indicators. So try and focus on that. So I'm not saying that I don't want the weeds gone eventually, but instead of just spraying them, well, mow them, put the carbon on the ground, let them get 3 feet tall. Just don't let them go to seed. Mow them before they do. Let them get big. What else is that doing, especially if you're in a drought? Well, we've been in a drought. They're protecting the soil. They're shading the soil. They're cooling it. They're making an environment that is hospitable for new germination. So your desirables, you're not going to get clover to germinate on this hillside in bare dirt with that sun right there beating down on it with 110 degree soil temperatures or whatever they are. It's going to be too dry and too hot. You're going to get nothing. Let those weeds come in. Let them stay on the ground for some time. Let them cover it. Let them protect it. And then that starts something underneath. You'll get some germination. I'm not saying it's going to be great, but then let that weed grow because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to sequester carbon. So we get that weed nice and big and fat and whatever, and then we go ahead and mow it. And it's amazing what you'll find underneath that big canopy of these tall weeds. I've mowed many fields around here that this spring and this winter were dirt, a lot of dirt, lots of exposed dirt. This spring, they came in very anemic. We had weeds galore, and I just let them go. I let them get big. Then I mowed. I let it happen again. I let them get big and I mowed. And this last time I mowed, just almost every square inch of this farm now, this ranch, doesn't matter where you go, has something living on or in the soil. So it's really encouraging. Use your weeds to your advantage. Don't fight them. Don't spray them. Let them get up there. Don't let them come to full maturation. Don't let them go to seed. Mow them off. Protect your soil. So we did that in the upper field. I say upper field, I'm standing in an upper field. It's our bottom ground field, and it's the upper end of our land. I mowed it, and then I seeded it. And I'll tell you what, it's unbelievable. I have brassicas coming in like crazy. I put some cover crops in. I got daikon radish. I got purple top turnip. I've got 3 different types of clover. I got a ladino, a red, and a crimson. Winter peas, and it's all coming in immaculately. It's really, really exciting to see. The deer have already showed up, you know, and most of the stuff's coddled in stage. It's just tiny, but they know it's there. They smell it. So now we've got 2 does, and they both have twins. So we got 6 deer that I see just about every evening now out there hunting them up. So it changes fast. Don't be discouraged and think it's going to take years. I came down here with that attitude going, well, you know, we're going to have to probably get through a couple years of it just being terrible and sucking and hard and short on feed. And so we started out with 10 animals. Well, I take that back. 10 heifers, 2 steers as far as cattle from Greg. So we wanted to start real light. That was his recommendation. I thought it was a wonderful idea. I'd rather err on that side than the other, to where we're, you know, feeding hay in June and July. That's what a lot of guys around here have been having to do. It's terrible. I really feel for them. So we have not, we have had to feed nothing, and our stands of grass are getting better. This has already been grazed. We ran animals through all this. You can see old broom sedge. There was a lot of broom sedge in here, and it just really hasn't come back. I've seen just a few here and there, just a few, and then I mowed them off. But this place was covered in this stuff. It was like an ocean, a sea of broom sedge. When we purchased this place, there was so much broom sedge on it. And we've limed this summer. It's only been 6 weeks since we limed, but I've already seen a major change with just that lime. It's milled lime. This is not, it's just regular old ag lime. It's not pelletized or anything, and it's already working because we put it on some living soil. This soil's got a long, long way to go, but it still has microbial life in it. We put on living soil instead of putting on the winter. I know that's a debate. We opted for summer. I'm an advocate of, well, on all this hillside stuff, why throw something down that's going to have a tendency to run off and end up in the creek bottoms and not get any effect out of it. So we said, put it on in the summer. It was much thicker than this. This has been trampled, grazed, ran over, and it held it in place, fed the soil, started buffering the pH. I haven't done any testing. I will do it soon, but I can just tell you by looking that our pH is already changing. And it could only be, you know, a tenth of a point, but it is changing. So that's it. I just wanted to put that out there. Weeds, they're not your enemy. Use them to your advantage and put them back into your soil. Keep their carbon and protect your soil. So thanks for watching, guys. If you made it this far in the video, I really appreciate it. You know, on the way out, if you would like, share, subscribe, it really helps us out. Thanks again from Tick Creek Ranch. We'll see you on the next one.